Rightio, good morning, good morning, good morning. We've got a much better time today. It is, I think, 10:56, not too bad. Much better time today, and I'm in a much better mindset to get cracking with these compound dovetails. Now this is a joint that I haven't attempted since, or in at least 5 or 6 years I reckon. The last time I tried it was when I was studying level 3 furniture making at Wood, which is the course that I am currently was teaching before quarantine took over. So it's been a very long time since I've tried this joint, and it didn't really go to plan back then. I'm hoping my skills have improved since then. But yeah, that's going to be a day's work down the drain if we screw this up. Like, the problem I had last time with them, because I didn't really understand how compound angles worked, was instead of it laying flat on the workbench like this, when I jointed it, it kind of tilted one of them up, or it was something like that, but it wouldn't allow the joint to sit flat on the table. And I only tried this with one corner before. I didn't do it with an entire box. So yeah, I'm kind of bricking this one. I'm not really sure what to expect from it. Obviously I could watch other tutorials on YouTube of how to do it, but I'm just going to get stuck in. I think the element of risk in this makes it a lot more interesting. One thing I do know with joints like this is when you're scribing around the or when you're creating the shoulder line of the dovetail, it's difficult to do it accurately on an angled top like this, because when you have the marking gauge, this side's alright because it's pushing the scribe into the material, but this side it's tilting away. So when you tilt it in like that, that's not necessarily going to be in line with the line that I scratched up the side here. So we got to be careful with that. So instead what we're going to do is scribe the shoulder lines with the sliding bevel, locked at the correct angle obviously. Scribe around there and do that on all the sides, even these edges here, in order to mark out the dovetails, and then we can be sure that this is matching up perfectly on the edges. Now, a few people in the last episode were asking about this sliding bevel. This is by Bridge City. I should always address it when I use it because people always ask what it is. It's made by Bridge City. It's really nice. Do you need it? No. It's got lots of like cool dovetail markers and stuff on it like that, and it looks really awesome. But to be honest, if you just need a sliding bevel that works, there's one that I've put in the description below, which is the Shinwa sliding bevel. It's actually got a better locking mechanism than this as well. It just doesn't look as cool. So if you want it to look cool, Bridge City's awesome. If you want one that's really affordable and works like it's the best one that I've ever used, then there's also one of them in the description below. Right, I've had a bit of a stroke of luck with this design because it's actually slightly different to the compound angle that I tried cutting all those years previously. Because the compound angle that I tried cutting previously had both the sides angled and also the front as well, which meant that when the front went into the sides, you had to like angle the ends of the tails to match that angle of them going in. Whereas because this one is actually sitting upright, it means that it's actually just going to be assembled at 90 degrees to that. Now, what I initially thought was that I could get a square and then square it along the top like that, but the way the square sits on some of these is quite awkward due to that compound angle on the end, so I wasn't really too confident with doing it this way. So that's why you probably saw me using a marking gauge instead and referencing off the bottom of the box and scribing across like that. That meant that all these lines scribed along the top were perfectly parallel with the bottom of the box, therefore being in line with the table below. But as you may be able to see, it's quite faint. I should have got a darker pencil really, but I'm going for triple dovetails on this. Right, let's have a look. What's going on here then? So it's something like that. Yeah, it's not too bad. I'm going to get the top scored first on these and then work on the angle afterwards. So, yep, that looks good. So now we'll locate it in there and match that angle, I guess. Right, so angled dovetails are complete. It wasn't too difficult. It wasn't easy, but it was, yeah, it was quite challenging. The definitely challenging bit, if that's even a phrase, is going to be transferring these tails onto here. Yeah. Like, I'm finding it hard enough to work out where some of these sit in relation to one another, like, because the angles just make it so difficult to work things out. There we go. And also, when I was cutting some of these tails, I ended up cutting off my markings on the top here. So that's that. Yes, that looks about right. Quickly redraw them on. Right, I'm not wanting to blow my own trumpet or anything, but these marking knives, they have got right to the back of that socket, no fuss, and in that quite relatively tight gap as well. This is why I like these blades. They are so good for stuff like this. Now, loads of people at the moment are asking when these knives will be available or where they can buy them and all that. I'm hoping to do a batch sometime in August or September time, and then a second batch sometime in November. Who knows how many I'm going to make in each of those batches, but what I do know is we've got a big old waiting list of people who want to receive them. If you want to get on that waiting list, you can visit knifeupdates.matteslea.com. There'll be a link in the description and all that. It's not necessarily a chronological waiting list. What it is a notification list, so you will know exactly when that batch is going to be going live and what will be available and all those things. Basically, it's updates as opposed to a waiting list, so that you can be poised and ready to go to get the one that you want to get. So if you want to go on that waiting list, knifeupdates.matteslea.com is in the description below. All you need to do is pop in your email address, pop your name in there, press submit, and then it will take you to a second page where there's like a survey where you can type in your preferred handle material and your preferred ferrule material. Again, this is not a pre-ordered list. This is just so that I can look at that data once I'm doing the batch and work out which one is going to be more in demand and which ones I don't necessarily need to focus on as much. It's not going to guarantee you get that one, it's just going to mean that I've got more stock of the more popular ones, if you get what I mean. Similarly, mallets is another thing that people are asking lots about. I don't know when the next batch of these is going to be available because I can't find any leadwood suppliers. I need 3 by 3 inches leadwood rounds in order to make the head. The handle can be like whatever, but I can't find leadwood in the UK. I'm really struggling. So if you have any ideas of where I can buy it, please drop it in the description below. Let me know, because I'm really struggling to source this stuff. Right, so I'm just working out how to scribe these lines down to the baseline now, and it's tricky because it's not quite as simple. Again, as you can't just put a square on the end grain there and square it down to the line, although it looks like it might work. That's actually, what was it, an 8-degree angle or something like that? Yeah, so if I was to square that down, effectively the line going down here would be going up 8 degrees, thus meaning that it's not in line with these ones. So we're going to attack it the same way as I did before, where I'm going to reference the marking gauge from the baseline and then scribe down from these knife lines that I've scratched on the end grain. Right, well that seemed to work nicely. Let's get cutting them out. Right, yeah, so that's some pretty good progress there. We've got the whole thing dovetailed together. The front well happy with that. They have turned out very, very nice. The back, bit hit and miss. There's a few gaps. I always struggle with dovetails that are angled acute like this. No, sorry, obtuse, past 90 degrees. Ones like this I can usually get alright, but those ones, always struggle with them, let alone the fact that it's compound, however I show that. But other than that, I'm really happy with how it's turned out. One thing I am particularly worried about, however, is I didn't really pay attention to how much I was undercutting some of the sockets and even the edges of the tails where it was rubbing quite a lot. And as a result, when this box is shaped in later stages, because I'm going to put some facets and stuff on the outside to give it this cool, like, crab-like look, once that happens, I'm worried that it's going to start exposing some of those undercuts. So we'll see how that goes, but I'm not going to do that today because I've got some other stuff to do, so we're going to end it there. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to press the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you in the next one.